In the episode Time Tagger, we saw a first glimpse of the Rabbit Miraculous and its follow-up power-up Time Travel. Afterwards, it also played a major role in Cat Blanc to take Ladybug to the future to help defeat Cat Noir. But if you take and observe carefully, there are just so many plot gaps in these episodes that need to be filled, especially regarding time travel. Now let's start with Time Tagger. And my first major flaw I see is how did Bunnix ever return to the past? She said that a Rabbit Miraculous was damaged by Cat Noir, and she was meant to be stuck in the specific period of time as she couldn't use the burrow. And even if a Miraculous was damaged, why didn't she transform back? And how did she even reach her letter to Ladybug? How did Alex's watch suddenly open into a BuzzFeed, leading Ladybug to the clue that Bunnix was there? And this is called a fixed loop time travel. What it basically is, if I wanted to go to the past to change something, I couldn't. Therefore, what's the use of time travel anyways? Now, some people may argue that Burnix did return back to the past to fix everything, and that was the main point of the episode. However, when she introduced herself, she said she was here fighting Time Tagger before, but Katniss Cataclysm damaged her Miraculous and she was sent back to the Stone Ages. And again, she comes back as Ladybug frees her and gets her stuck in the same timeline. Ladybug frees her from that stone statue, and then she's back into the same timeline at the exact same place, which technically means she has actually returned back from the future, as she was sent back to the past. So she's returning back from the past to the future, and again stuck in the same timeline. So basically, we cannot go back to the past. It's all that fixed loop time travel once again. We're back to the future. And we also saw Alex returning the Rabbit Miraculous to her, which had been passed down family generations to give it to someone appropriate in the future. So by that means, Bunnix was always meant to be sent back to the past. It's a fixed loop and it can't be changed logically. And again, in the same episode, we see a bunch of characters from the present that has been sent back to the past, thus rewriting the present itself. And that's how the rules shouldn't be played out. Now, I know at this point it sounds a bit confusing, and it is confusing, and it's going to be getting more confusing as we move on to Cat Blanc. Firstly, how did Bunnix even get to know that the future is going to be destructed by Cat Noir? She always need to stay in her burrow to know that. That means, does Bunnix in the future always keep staying in her burrows and looking at every future and past even though she herself tells Ladybug that we shouldn't be interfering with past and future events? So from the meta point of view, she should have never known that Adrian had done all these and destroyed Paris if she wasn't in her burrow. She herself tells Ladybug that we shouldn't be interfering with past or future events in both the episodes, Time Tagger and Cat Blanc. Then why does she herself interfere with time? And if Ladybug's future mistakes start to erase Bunnix, how did she even return back to the past? She would have already been erased. And finally, how doesn't Adrian realize that the gift that Ladybug just passed him after the Lucky Charm has been used is from Marinette? Because if we see clearly just before that, Adrian looking throughout the window of his car and looks at Marinette exactly, and he sees the gift. And you may be telling me that, hey, the Lucky Charm fixed everything, but Marinette or Ladybug used her Lucky Charm before Adrian got to his room. That means the Lucky Charm shouldn't have affected what Adrian had seen in his car. The Lucky Charm only affected what happened afterwards. All the memory has been wiped afterwards, not before that. So why doesn't Adrian see it? So in the end, I see this episode having two timelines. Timeline A being the future Ladybug and Cat Noir, where the identities haven't been discovered and the life goes on simply. And B is Cat Blanc. Both timelines which exist and co each other to the exact episode, but they're not at all related or interrelated in any way. They exist, but in a completely different dimension. They're not related to each other because it doesn't make sense, because there was just simply a break in the timeline. And I know it does sound confusing, and before you say it, I know it's a kids show. But yes, there are people who are going to theorize on this. Not like me, but there are other people as well. So what do you guys think? Was this a very important thing or matter to keep in mind, or was it just an animation flaw? After all, Cat Blanc, as Thomas said, was written within 1 year. So was it actually an intentional flaw, plot hole, or just to wrap up the episode and put it into the air? Let us know.